always just active when defending. I think it's like.
People deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, man. Come on.
Just as Ian Wright said there, people, deluded, I am back again. Let's go over the latest rumours and all these things concerning our football club. Please smash the like button, comment, subscribe. One love to everybody watching the ads. I know it's frustrating people. It helps the content creators. And you don't pay for this unless it's YouTube Premium. Nothing is free in this life. Help the guys out. Let's start with Declan Rice. As we know, tomorrow, and I will be doing a watch-along for it, Fiorentina against West Ham in the Conference League final. And for Declan Rice, in an ideal world for him, he wins that. He leaves through the front door, having helped West Ham stay in the Premier League, unlike Southampton, Leeds United, and obviously Leicester City. And then he wins a European trophy. Again, he's been linked with Arsenal. At this point, it's a bit frustrating. You just want to hear the man's either signing or not now. But for what it's worth, I've skipped to the bulk of this article, which actually makes sense or away from the jargon. West Ham's best hope is to get as much money as possible for Rice. They are holding out for at least 100 million and to reinvest wisely. Too many top managers admire his tackling, energy, reading of the game, passing, and growing goal threat for him to stay. Growing goal threat. So does that allude to potentially replacing Granit Xhaka? I mean, he's got versatility. You look at John Stones, you know, Declan Rice could be deployed in, you know, how you're seeing that, how you've seen John Stones play for City, like at the weekend. And obviously he could play in the 8, he could play as a 6 by trade, he can play as a centre half. Maybe Arteta believes he could be an 8 in a more attacking team and a team more likely to have dominance in possession. 100 million though. Lately, there have been discussions with Thomas Tuchel about Bayern Munich, although a move to Germany is regarded as unlikely. Rice, who is extremely close to his family, became a father last summer. His preference is to stay in England, and the smart money remains on him joining Arsenal. There is a mutual admiration between Rice and Mikel Arteta. That's great, but it comes down to agreeing a fee with West Ham and Arsenal. Arsenal have the upper hand. Manchester United can make a late move, but their focus is on signing a striker. Liverpool have other targets in midfield. Pep Guardiola has spoken to Rice, but Man City are not seeking to replace Rodri. I mean, they could shop Calvin Phillips or loan out Calvin Phillips and then make up the difference and take Declan Rice. Newcastle's interest is unlikely to go far. As for Chelsea, they are not in Europe next season, and the prospect of losing Mason Mount has not helped their chances of buying his best friend. I hear that, but and I don't want to say it, but, you know, you can't. Chelsea will be back. Chelsea's still a great proposition. Chelsea still give him the aspect of staying in London. Obviously, with being a top 4, top 6 competing for Champions League, somebody's going to miss out. Unless you're Manchester City under Pep Guardiola, they're the only assurances you could say. Let's just, if you was to guess 2 to 3 seasons from now, that would always be in the Champions League, and since unless something crazy happens. And obviously he's got his own attraction to Chelsea. So I love to hear it, but and I don't want to praise Chelsea, but it'd be ignorant to suggest that, you know, that's just the thing. Arsenal, who are about to make space for Rice by selling Xhaka, are the cleanest choice. West Ham would benefit from him moving quickly, allowing them to rebuild. And Arsenal sense Rice will give them a better chance of winning the title. A bit more oomph in midfield could be vital. Would Arsenal have blown those 2-goal leads against Liverpool and West Ham during the run-in if Rice had been protecting the back four? I mean, he's not Superman. The whole team has to show more bottle in that regard. So we would have had a stronger midfield option, and maybe it would have helped us, but it'd be ignorant to suggest that. Not that Arteta's interest is solely down to Rice's defensive qualities. When Rice ran half the length of the pitch to score against Gent in April, the response from one person who knows Rice's game inside out was to expect him to do even more in a final third in a bigger team, which is great. We know nothing seems to faze him. We know he's got physicality. He's got a great mentality. He's reacted from setbacks of being released. He's the captain of West Ham, which, you know, I think is a big club. They're very proud fans. You can't really mess about. And he's shown he's brave. He'll front up and talk to the cameras and things. And them interviews haven't always gone the right way. And I'm talking in the aftermath of some of the defeats. So there's many reasons to love Declan Rice, essentially, people. We all know he's a good person. Again, respectfully, none of that really matters to me at this moment in time. Barcelona trump Arsenal and Manchester City with improved offer for Gundogan. Allegedly, Barcelona are closing in on an agreement with Man City after significantly improving their contract. Didn't his agent come out yesterday? Smash the like button, let me know your thoughts, and say nothing's been decided. Apparently, news report Sport out of Barcelona has said Barcelona have put forward a fresh proposal that both City and Arsenal will struggle to compete with. The Catalan giants, who are trying to sign Messi and have their own financial issues, even though they get rid of people, have now tabled a 3-year offer worth around 7.7 million per year or 150k a week. I mean, if City are offering you a 1-year deal, allegedly if Arsenal are offering you a 2-year deal, I couldn't begrudge you for wanting to play under a great player and a developing manager in Xavi, a big club like Barcelona, a new experience in Spain, having been at Manchester City and in England for 7 years, really and truly. And security, you know, he's 32, 33. If they're giving you a 3-year deal, then it's calm. If you're playing for a 1-year deal at City, they might get rid of you next year. That is slightly less than what he could earn at City or even Arsenal, but that is offset by the fact it's a longer term deal and will last until he is 35. Barcelona are confident the contract will be enough to convince Gundogan to sign and will look to finalise the deal once the Champions League final is over. Arsenal and City have not given up. Neither will up their contract offers to 3 years, which hands Barca advantage, while the Spanish side believe Gundogan wants to leave England and move to Catalonia. The weather would be amazing. He's said to be keen for a change of scenery, people, while he's reluctant to play for another Premier League team, which is a myth. He's also believed to have received an offer from the Middle East, as it says here, people. Fair enough, really. He did say, I know that's why I'm here already 7 years with all the ups and downs. That's what I've had so far. Nothing is decided yet, so we're going to see what's going to happen. Fair enough, really and truly. On that, Mikel Arteta prepares alternative transfer, allegedly. Again, we know Caicedo and Declan Rice have been the poster boys. Again, doesn't really say anything. We've been linked with Sasha Boy, where Fabrizio Romano's poured cold water on that. We've heard some outlets say 80 million for Caicedo. Some are saying Brighton are slapping a £100 million price tag on him, people. That's according to Secret Scout. Brighton are demanded in the region of 100 million. So that's 30 more than the 70 million pound bid we placed in January, people. So they haven't learned too much there. Apparently, Arsenal and Dortmund handed huge boosts in their pursuit of Real Valladolid wonder kid Iván Fresneda after his release clause is halved following relegation from La Liga. He'll be available, the 18-year-old, for £17 million. He previously has spoken on his admiration for Mikel Arteta and Arsenal. I really like what I've seen from him. Get him to the carpet. It's as simple as that, people. If he stayed in that division, La Liga, the top division, it would have been a case of 34.5 million quid, people. That has dropped to 20 million euros, 17.2. And you do hear Dortmund and Arsenal trying to negotiate that even further. He's on the contract until 2025, so they're going to have to make the decision up. Allegedly, Arsenal and Dortmund, Fresneda would appear to have captivated, almost going to say that, the attentions of two of the most exciting young teams in Europe. Dortmund would be great for you, but the interest of some of the continent's traditional giants is nothing new. He has played at Real Madrid, people, and he has been linked with a return to Real Madrid, Barcelona, and obviously, as you see here, Inter, AC, and Juventus, people. Lovely play. Can play in midfield as well as a centre-back, and I think he could be groomed to play in that false 9 role, people. Although he was unwilling to join Bournemouth halfway through the season with his side in a precarious position, he has always been vocal of his desire to join the team fighting for some of the more prestigious honours in the game. Fair enough if they tried to buy him, people. Fair enough. Bournemouth tried to get him on loan. Fair enough. My agent keeps me very much on the sidelines. I don't really like to look at what a journalist might have written, but I've lived everything with a lot of emotion. I'm very grateful to the club, to the previous manager, and I'm trying to handle it as naturally as possible. I'm very young. I have to go step by step, not go backwards. Being the age I'm at, you have to keep improving, and I'm doing that at Valladolid. Everyone would like to go to the best teams in the world, and that's one of my ambitions, of course. Had they stayed in La Liga, with there being a Euros to consider, maybe having an outside choice, maybe he would have probably stayed there, a bit like Lavia at Southampton. Potentially, he'll be on the move somewhere. Rice could cost close to £100 million. Arsenal and Chelsea are both interested in Caicedo. Barcelona and Arsenal are trying to position themselves at the front of the queue to sign Gundogan. Now, the Telegraph have this behind a paywall, so we can't click on it. Charles Watson said on Caicedo, if Arsenal and Chelsea are both in the mix and both put the same amount of money down, assuming Chelsea are going to play fair, he's going to want to go to Arsenal. They're in the Champions League, and it just depends on what Arsenal will do. Obviously, Rice is the priority. When you look at most tackles and interceptions in the Premier League, Caicedo has 156, Declan Rice has 142. Out of however many players technically are employed by Premier League teams across the 20, them two score quite high. So it'd be nice to get more physicality and get people that win the ball back and can help dominate midfield. Once again, Romano has said on the release clause of Fresneda is 20 million euros. Sources feel Fresneda could leave for less than the 20 million in the summer. There's interest, but there's been no bid from Arsenal, and Dortmund are strongly interested, allegedly, people. His release clause, once again, is now 20 million. Sources feel the player could leave for less. Arsenal remain interested, as do Dortmund. So nice, I say it twice. Arsenal on the right track with Iván Fresneda. An agreement is not far from being found with the player. Fresneda was originally second choice behind João Cancelo, but talks broke down after asking price claimed. So make of that what you will. We have been linked with Xavi Simons. Allegedly, Paris Saint-Germain would like to activate the buyback clause for Xavi Simons, but he's still far away from agreeing the move. Simons' new agent, Darren Dean, who is the son of David Dean, obviously would like him to move to Arsenal, while Man United and Manchester City have also both shown an interest, people. Brighton want at least 80 million for Caicedo, says the Daily Mail, who is of interest to Chelsea and is also on the wish list of Arsenal and Man United. Lavia is also admired by the same three clubs, plus Liverpool. Southampton are expected to demand 40 to 50 million, considering he's been there for a year or 18 months. Great profit. West Ham valued Declan Rice at 120 million, but Arsenal will push to strike a deal that is closer to 90. West Ham are resigned to losing Rice, whatever the outcome of the clash with Fiorentina, and Arsenal will accelerate talks for their number one target after that game. Big up you lot. Let me know your thoughts. Dean Jones on Declan Rice and said he'll probably join Arsenal. I spoke to someone the other day and they said, look, it's 75% Arsenal where he's going. It's not 100% until a man's holding a shirt saying he used to watch Henry growing up. Anything's up for debate. I don't know about Rice and Man United. I just don't think it will open up for him. And again, it's all guesswork, essentially. Everybody's got a source or spoke to a friend. Chelsea and Arsenal are both interested in Caicedo if the midfielder has got the... If the midfielder got the move he wanted in January, he'd be an Arsenal player now. Well, obviously, but Brighton refused to sell even for 70 million, and they have since succeeded in tying him down to a new deal. That does not mean Caicedo will be off the market this summer, though. Fair enough. What is this here? Chelsea to strengthen the midfield. Pochettino asks for Caicedo. The new Chelsea coach appreciates the Ecuadorian, now considered one of the main targets. Many clubs are in the race for the Brighton player. Evolving situation. I don't think we get Caicedo for what it's worth. Probably Declan Rice and someone else if we're fortunate, but I don't know if that is going to be a thing. Until players are signed, who knows? I don't even know for Rice. Joe Shields is pushing the higher-ups to start talks for Lavia. It's now his most likely destination, but Liverpool are in the fight, says Sasha Chavoleri, I believe. Forgive me, who's a Belgian national himself, speaking about a Belgian player, so there is credibility. Ben Jacobs, don't know if there's any credibility here, but everybody's got an opinion. Arsenal tick a lot of boxes for Declan Rice. He speaks glowingly about Mikel Arteta. He has Champions League football. He can stay in London. He likes the project. Personal terms are not thought to be a problem either. The only worry for Arsenal is that someone else comes in higher. Arsenal want to pay under 100 million. The feeling a few months ago was that 75 to 80 would be enough for Rice, but since then we've had Enzo Fernandez. If you're Arsenal, you're thinking if you can pay something that's in your budget. Rice is a high priority because they think he ticks every single box. Proven Premier League quality, drops into the side. He's a leader. He's a great personality, and he can drop into any Premier League side, says Jacobs. Arsenal were very close to pushing the button to sign Fresneda in January. However, the club decided against it, and the player also decided to stay. Says Charles Watts. Gundogan has 4 offers at the moment. He could earn 9 million euros for 3 years at Barcelona. He could sign for City with an option for a year, with an option of another year with a higher salary than at Barca. Arsenal have a 2-year offer on the table. The article has not specified the salary, and he's also, like a number of players, Kante even, got an offer from the Middle East. Ruben Neves, who has once upon a time been linked with Arsenal, is very happy to wait for Barcelona. At the end of April, personal terms were agreed with Mendes. Barca still have FFP issues to be solved. The player isn't a priority for Xavi. It's also not guaranteed that Fati would go to Wolves as part of the deal. Rafinha links have resurfaced. Apparently, Tuchel is monitoring his situation, as he once tried to sign him at Chelsea, and he's a fan of the 26-year-old. But Xavi and Barcelona have said he's not for sale, but it could be one to watch and could be one Arsenal are relinked with. We've already read this about being taken out by other teams. Romano says Arsenal really appreciate player who left in 2019. He plays for Valencia, which you kind of, after the scenes with Vinicius, you're kind of wishing the worst on Valencia. Romano has said Arsenal appreciate him. Fair enough. We wanted him to stay, the 20-year-old, but he saw a move and it's worked out for him. Of course, he started in Arsenal's academy and he's a player that's really appreciated there. At the moment, it's not something concrete or something advanced, but that kind of player could be interesting for Arsenal. So it's a player we like, but it doesn't appear that that's someone we're going to actively move for, people. We've already seen this 75% likely he joins Declan Rice joins Arsenal. Right. Borussia Dortmund have been relinked with Gundogan, so that could be a 15 people. And I think this is just going to say the same old things that we've said, and he's going to be linked with a couple of clubs. Apparently, Arsenal, off topic, are planning to host Monaco in a midweek Emirates Cup friendly due to the club being back in the Community Shield, people. The game is close to being finalised and has been penciled in for Wednesday, the 2nd of August at the Emirates Stadium. It will be the first time since the Emirates Cup was launched by Arsenal in 2007 that will take place in midweeks. The decision has been made due to the fact that the Gunners are back in the Community Shield for the first time since 2020 when we beat Liverpool on penalties, and obviously because of Man United's failure to win the FA Cup, we play City. So yeah, it is what it is. Between going, I believe to Germany for a piece, then going to America, then coming back to England to begin our preparations and playing the Emirates Cup, that seems to be our summer plans. Wrapping this up and seeing what else has been linked with. We've heard this before, but Napoli have been linked with Balogun to replace Osimhen. I'm not sure you can bet on someone that's only got one standout season to replace Osimhen, who's done it for a few, if I'm honest, even though that's not to belittle Balogun. You can't underrate 21 goals in 38 games across all comps, people. 21 if I didn't say that. Aston Villa are to compete with Arsenal to sign Telemans. Personal terms have been agreed for Caicedo. We're moving closer to confirming Reece Nelson's new deal. We're trying to get Odegaard to commit new terms. We have been linked with Xavi Simons. This is said Bayern Munich's offer to Declan Rice has been rejected by the player. We've rekindled our interest in Milinkovic-Savic. João Cancelo has ruled out a move to another Premier League team. Romano has doubled down on claims we will submit at least our first bid after today, or tomorrow, better yet, where Fiorentina play West Ham in a cup final. We're in pole position to sign Wahi from Montpellier. We've placed a €15 million offer, according to this, by Iván Fresneda. We're joining Spurs and Newcastle in the race to sign James Maddison. Bayern Munich lead Arsenal in the pursuit of Vlahovic. Smith Rowe won't be sold this summer. PSG are looking at Odegaard, and it doesn't appear that there's anything new there. So let me know your opinions on Declan Rice, on Caicedo, on Lavia, on Gundogan, on Fresneda, on anyone we've discussed or any of the points risen. Don't forget to smash the like button. If there's been any ads throughout this video, I appreciate that. Make sure you're watching that. It helps the channel. Stay blessed, stay safe, and I'll see you lot again soon, man.
You always use that active red light, suspended. I think it's like